And it's like you taking it and changing the narrative to what you want it to be because you don't like the hard work. And see, now streaming is very different. You know what I mean? We didn't have that because I ain't gonna lie. Do you know how rich we would be if we had the platforms we had right now back then?
Well, I'll tell you what, trending and just even we would have more access to the memories. A lot of people would have it on their phones. The things that we're looking for that we're going to dig up and find out there because there are people with these pictures and stuff. We just have to connect it.
Right.
But that is so true. If I had these things, I'd be able to reach. And then it was marketing and promotions was one of the things that we lacked regardless because when you're talented like everybody I grew up with, it was a sense of how do we get it out there?
Okay, let's do this. Yes, mega rich. Let's do this. You two, can you share with the listening audience, the youth, how did we market back then?
Back then?
Yes.
It was.
Do you remember?
Which is still today the strongest marketing, which is word of mouth. But we did flyers.
Stapling them on a pole.
And put them on the poles. There was some great printing companies. I mean, like for the concerts, when you could afford that, of course, the concerts that I opened for was the big cardboard fluorescent posters. And a lot of people got those in their basements or somewhere, that they kept from those days. Because they were gorgeous. They were, really large, like 14 inches and everything. But flyers worked back then that we had to go get copy at Kinko's. Kinko's used to be 24 hours. I spent time in there. But word of mouth was powerful. It still is today.
It is.
Because we always talking. So, that's not technology, guys. That's, you get on the phones and stuff now and push the text message and everything. But talking was very powerful. The word of mouth was everything back then.
Yeah, and RB and Facebook, right. We'd be mega rich.
Right.
We like,
right,
what?
Right.
Now, I will say with the younger generation, they are big on just for that clickbait. I'll make you rich with each other, the camaraderie that they have. And, you'll have where some people, what is that saying? The game is sold, not told. With our generation, where this generation is like, you want to do that? You could just do pretty much nothing. If they get the clickbait and it's like, you just click on it, view it. That's what I have to do to make you rich. And that's fine. Back then, we know how one record, remember you sell a record, you got a record to make it. You had to sell 1 million to become gold.
Right.
Yeah.
Where now you got the streams, but it takes 1,500 streams to count as one record. Mm-hmm. And these kids hitting it. And it's like, okay, can y'all hit mine, please?
Right.
Help us out. Click it.
Everything is fire. Everything is quick for them. And you're in and out. And they got this cancel culture that's going on. But they still involved in an illusion.
But you know what the cancel culture come from? The cancel culture come from lack of knowledge. That's why I said I got to get you on. So you want to cancel it because you didn't like the way you felt. But you need to know the history of it. And when you learn the history of it, then you'll be like, oh, okay, now I get it. Maybe I won't cancel it. And speaking of the cancel culture, what about how now you could go on stage and perform pregnant?
Right.
That wasn't okay back then.
Like on Facebook, it's a lot of course, groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one that I just joined in. They asked me to come in called I Am HipHop.
Okay.
And so they use the same methods by the moderators ask a lot of negative questions on here. And of course, these negative questions draw people near. I don't know, like we talked about earlier, I don't know what in our psyche that we like negative things. Like something positive, you just scroll. But if it's negative, you stop and then you engage. And this is why these companies are using this type of material to bring you in, even with the P. Diddy thing. Now, I know they're being exposed, but there was a time when they just put in that there to draw you near. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they're doing. But I wanted to tell everybody, I Am HipHop, they argue a lot. And, when argument is going on, then there's just no peace in the midst, right? We know that, for real. So the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace, I want to just quickly say that there is a foundation.
But, okay, I want you to give that, but I want to say this. because you did say you don't know where that comes from, where everybody is gravitating to the negative. We as a people tend to root for the underdog. And less is more, meaning if everybody's successful and then now this person is not, well, I want them to win. Let's look at Fantasia would be an example. This is her struggle of what happened, and we were happy to see the Cinderella story. So what's happening is the less is more. But I know and I feel it in 2024, professionalism is back. The underdog is not winning because why less is more. So everybody's negative. And negative is not going to win. So now that everybody's negative, we got to go positive. And in case you didn't know, it takes 3 positives to get rid of 1 negative. And that was before. It's probably going to change because so many people are negative and we're gravitating to negativity. Where now it's like, okay, I'm tired of the mess. Do something different. So now we're doing something different where it's like, let's educate the people. Let's give them the knowledge that they need to make things better. Go ahead with your declaration.
Right. I'm just, the 18 principles is a foundation, and a strong foundation that will really help you if you got a question about it. You know what I mean? And these group of people, I believe it was in March of 1981, they went to the United Nations with the document. I mean, this is my copy that I created for Atlanta because people have never heard of it. I run into people all over the world in Atlanta, from all over the world, and especially New York, where this was created, and they have never heard of it.
Let's hear it.
And I'm not here to push it.
No, I want you here. Go ahead. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
But these young people just need to know we have a foundation. We got 18 principles. Because they're saying it's Drake pop, and Most Def was letting them know, well, Drake's not hip hop in his opinion, but really to be called pop is popular, and there's really nothing wrong with it. We got to start understanding and reading it. Oh. These words have a definition, right? These words, look up things when you hear stuff. Find out what they're really saying. Because a lot of times they do this stuff just to get your attention because you're not gonna tap in unless I say something negative. Now, Most Def has a whole different walk.
All right, let's keep it positive. We ain't even worried about the negative people. Go ahead. You ready? Go ahead and read it. What you got?
So, so let's just keep it straight up. We want our children to know and all over to know and understand that the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace exists. All you have to do is Google it. It tells you a lot. I don't want to take the time to read it, of course, but it touches base on things that keep, when they're confused calling hip hop a genre and they're calling rap a genre, and that they're trying to make them fight against each other. That's the same.
So they splitting up the genres of music with hip hop and rap?
Right. When the culture made rap, and then the rap, because of the principles, tell us that we do not discriminate.
What are some of the principles? Go ahead, read it. Read it real quick.
Some of the principles. Well, the first principle tells you what hip hop is.
Go ahead, come on.
It's a collective consciousness, and it's expressed through our dancing, our talking, emceeing, rapping, our art like graffiti, drawing, DJing, which is partying, bringing people together, beatboxing, which is a talent with the mouth, an instrument with no instruments, right? Your mouth, beatboxing. That's the concept.
Your Dougie Freshes.
Whatever we put on, we set trends. It could be, remember grunge came because we didn't have money and our clothes was worn out, and that became a fashion statement. Where'd that come from? Us. Street language, street knowledge. Now, street language is like Ebonics. We'll change the definition on you quick.
Listen, they will.
And then the knowledge, which is our reading, what interests us specifically, and then street trade or entrepreneurialism. Right? Okay.
Which so you have
us expressed because we all own businesses, but I would give shouts out to Big Papa, to Diego, when he would be out there selling them CDs. And one time I was paying rent, and I'm telling you, I have poetry. Me and my friend, we took our poems and put them in frames, and for Mother's Day, and do you know, Glenn, Diego would grab them up by the bulk from us, pay us, and then sell them for Mother's Day and Sweetest Day and Valentine's Day that year. And that really blessed us because we over here creating from our mind, from out of nowhere, from scratch. We creating stuff. but we actually had somebody who would purchase them from us. And he was
big ups for helping each other and doing what you got to do.
So this is a culture functioning within itself. It doesn't even need anybody else. That's one, right? Two,
right.
Talks about the dignity and sanctity of life. Without discrimination or prejudice, we should consider our duty to protect the development of life. The third one, hip-hop culture respects the laws and agreements of its culture, its country, its institutions, because, they try to build us up against America, try to act like we was the violent ones and all that, trying to create the narrative that wasn't ours. It wasn't. And these things have to be established. That's why they turned it into the United Nations, to let them know, you can't do this.
Now, where can we find the declaration?
By just Googling it.
And what should we? The Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. I'm with you on that, and I think that people need to understand where it derived from. But I know in our area, my introduction to the actual culture was from you, and we were very, very young and listening to different hip hop music. Like I said, New York, getting it all like. Being there and having family from somewhere, it's like, oh, this is it. But actually getting to the meat of it, It was you opening up. New Kids on the Block, Houdini, Kid and Play, Heavy D, Salt and Pepper, The Keys to Star Palace. That was our spot on Thursday night. That was it, okay?
Right.
And
it was just dreaming and believing in yourself.
That's it. And support.
Manifested for me.
And support. So much support from the people in your family. The parents, like I was saying, Diego, he can confirm that. Parents was making uniforms.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, when I was dancing, Miss Company, Maurice Shelton Moggs was making all our uniforms. And there was a lot of other parents out there. They were so much involved in making our uniforms and showing up, being there, enjoying the outcome of not only what they was putting out there as far as their clothes, but us entertaining. I mean, we was enjoying that. I loved it.
Right. And then, where was the practices at, Glenn?
Huh?
Where was the practices at? Because I know we was in Candee's basement. Where was y'all practicing?
All my practices, we was in Maurice Shelton basement. I mean, for 8, 9 hours, sometimes 12 hours, or all night. You know what I'm saying? In the basement. And get up in the next morning, go to school, or if we wasn't in school, we was practicing. However it go, we was getting together for that next show, and that's for a fact.
Now, you know what? I gotta, I look on there, shout out, I see you, Fred Winlock of Facebook, Big B's house over Benson's. Yes, we used to kick it over Benson Winlock's house. I remember that too. Right. But you see where the difference is at? You said all night, and guess what? Parents didn't have to be stressed. Where they at? Oh, they practicing. You knew that they were safe. And to me, like that, what they call it, like battle dancing now with the different groups. Like, we battled, but it was you judged on what, Rain? Creativity? Uniform? I remember that was one of it. Appearance.
Originality, gimmick, presentation, lip sync, creativity. And for the dancers, it was staying on beat. But yeah, there was like 7 categories to score. And again, that brings us back to the platforms was there for us. The adults had these platforms.
And people weren't getting paid off. I hope not. Because you had different people judging.
Remember, some of these adults that threw this stuff, we want to reach out and thank them. We want to talk with them. Like we said, Miss Miller from African Culture. I think we started to put together some names. If they're still here with us, we want to pay homage to that.
Yeah, the African Culture Fest, that was it. That was it. That was fun times.
And I understand it was, some OGs that was doing Star Palace, but look what they did with their money as opposed to what the OGs today do with their money. They put it into the community.
And they did.
It made a big difference. And it lasted as long as it could until we became violent. Guns started to hit our streets and stuff. And then they had to shut the Star Palace down. But while it lasted, it was great. It really was.
And that's what we need to get back to for real, for real. The kids need to get back to, and the parents, and not only the parents, the people that's in power, the mayor, whoever else that can be involved in creating this talent shows and things all over again, because it would be something nice. People will want to show their talent. People want to show that they can sing. People want to show they can dance. People want to show they can rap. People want to show a lot of different things, a lot of art, a lot of models, a lot of everything, a lot of hair shows, a lot of everything.
I do remember the All City variety show that was at Stamp Auditorium. I'll never forget this one. And it was, what was it called? Amateur Night, I believe. And they had models.
Yeah.
Models was up there. Boom, you saw the photos. And I don't know who was funding this, but listen, whoever was funding it, I appreciate it because we saw greatness. And it wasn't just like knockoff type stuff, like, here you go, we get ready to. I mean, they went all in. The microphones was good, everything. And even the singers, because I remember that one guy sang, I'll Be Sure, and he hit that note and he passed out. He hit that. Candee, you remember it. He hit that note. He was like, he kept holding it, and the people in the audience was like, hold it. I was one of them. Hold it. And he kept holding it.
Right.
Stamp Auditorium, he was like, oh, boom. He a pastor now, but let me tell you, I'm like, I ain't let nobody hype me up. Hype that man up till he lost his breath. It was like, what?
Right, yeah, you right, Tiff. When Heavy D came, that was a big night.
Okay, so we got, thank you. Okay, Fred Willock on Facebook said Master Jam, Sweet Sensation, Magic Mix Company was the best. I got you, yes. That was it.
And another a key thing, Mel, the promoters, because Youngstown, where it sits, is for the entertainment industry is awesome because it's 8 hours from all the or less from major cities. We can get to New York, Chicago. We can get to Cleveland, down, wherever. So the promoters in Pittsburgh. So the promoters had the upper hand because if anybody comes, and this is a heads up for anybody who might have the funding to do this again. I mean,
I got you. Yeah,
we reaching far.
Yeah.
But
no, we not reaching far. I say do it.
If celebrity comes to Pittsburgh or Cleveland, you can easily grab them to come to Youngstown right after the show. Whatever they're doing in Cleveland, they could come right to Youngstown and get there in less than 40 minutes. And that's what was going on at the Star Palace. Those artists were coming to Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and the promoter was pulling them after they should. So we were opening up while they was driving in.
And that was it. And you
about Heavy D on there. Remember, Heavy D came, and he didn't even have a voice that night because he had rocked Cleveland. He was like super quiet in his dressing room. So it was a good day to talk with him, Tiff. I remember that. And he was, it was just like a funeral in there just because he couldn't speak. Everybody else had to be quiet. But he was talking to us low in his raspy voice. And everybody who came, Kumo D. Kumo D out. Kumo D came, all of them, Sweet Tea, all of them would sit backstage and just drop.
And that was the rap fest.
And that's where I picked up most of the swag of how we need to rehearse, how we need to treat each other, how I treated y'all at the dance rehearsals.
It was just mad respect.
Being a leader. It was just
that was the concert where they Salt and Pepper performed "Push It" for the first time.
Right.
They performed "Push It"
very early in their career, very, very, very early. And Herb Lovebug put them together.
Yes,
and he would come down, and it was just a lot with that, with the promoters and the connection between Youngstown and New York. Youngstown and anywhere.
But guess what? Youngstown and anywhere. And look at just the state of Ohio, how amazing it is with all the talent. And the talent is here. And it's like everybody wants to be one thing, or maybe they don't want to be just one thing, but they don't see an avenue to take to say, all right, well, I don't want to be a hardcore rapper. Or you got some of these people that's acting like they hardcore, and that wasn't it. That hardcore stuff came in when the West Side Connect came in. But when you're dealing with the East Coast, when it first was starting, even though, like you had your Supersonics, Your who else was it? The Sequence. You know, we had those little girly groups, and then you had mine was Roxanne Shante when she came, because I did see UTFO at the Elks, like you said, Glenn.
Yeah.
The Elks, they was in concert. I seen them with the little feline hats. I thought I was cold with the leather white. Yes, and
Backbone Records, they would go there. If you knew that they was in town, they would take them to Backbone Records early.
yes,
So we could do some autographs. So we saw Bismarck and Shantae at Backbone, and then later on at Standbars, what I remember, they was at Standbars after that.
and then you had so many things to do and so many concerts, but then it got halted. Now, to me, the dancing is so important because you have to entertain as a whole. And even if you know, I feel like if you want to rap, okay, that's fine. You can rap. I'm listening to your words, but I need to see what you're doing. And I was always into the fashion. What's the new fashion? How does this look? You know, that was my thing. What dance goes here? And it's a lot of artists that are trying to eliminate the dance and just hop around all over. I ain't even gonna say probably.
Well, you really ain't gonna be able to ever eliminate the dancing, because dancing make up the whole thing. Dancing bring out the rappers, the singers, the whole gamma of things. And you know, before I get too far into this conversation, you know what? Dancing just not hitting people. Regular normal people. Do you know people that's out there that came here, like Deaf Eric and Derek? They was deaf and they was dancing. You hear what I'm saying? Anybody know that?
I didn't know that.
They was dancing.
Yes, they would come to the Star Palace and they could feel the bass. They could feel the music.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we would make way. Like
Can't hear or can't talk.
I didn't know they couldn't hear though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were deaf. And
Derek and Edward. Them two guys right there that I know for a fact.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So dancing is universal. Crosses the waters.
Dancing is universal. You know, and that just...
They put that, because dancing, you know, the way that they worked us, you know, I got to bring this part. I don't want to be negative now, but the way that they worked it out of it. The young men didn't have nothing after that, just sports. But before, there was just a variety of things to choose to express yourself. And so now when I see young men walking around 8 at a time, them can be groups. You know what I mean? Not trying.
I do look at y'all like, y'all not interested in dancing? Y'all not.
But even in Decatur, they get this age and there's no activities for them.
You know what though?
And this gun toting that we have going on right now.
I think we got an answer.
It was cool to be a dancer,
but I think we got an answer, because Glenn said they were in somebody's basement, they were in somebody's house, but now you can't have company. Don't let nobody in. Even like with Rico, when he was saying he was a latchkey child, you know, on your show, The Scenic Route, y'all check that out on YouTube. It was like, okay, you're at home. You can't let nobody in. You can't go outside, but we do got media now. So I guess you could practice on the computer, you know what I mean? Until y'all actually get together. But you had that personal relationship with the individual, and y'all were practicing and able to do it. But now parents are like, nope, I don't want nobody in my house. No, y'all not tearing up my stuff. Turn that music down. It's all no, where they're not being involved in embracing it and saying, okay, if this is what my child want to do, we're going to do it.
You know what? This also got to take place not only in Youngstown, I'm talking about Georgia, and whatever state that's out there listening to us today. You know what I'm saying? They got to take into consideration. They got to help sponsor places where kids can go to practice and enjoy and have fun, safe fun, and that's just what it is.
The recreational centers.
Anybody that's in Youngstown at this present time, or in Georgia at this present time, that is listening to the radio show, to this broadcast right here, or Rain broadcast, start supporting our people right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because they help getting this message out. They utilizing people. I'm one of them, and I'm deeply involved because I'm interested in dancing. I love dancing, and anybody know that I can dance on any spectrum. But it's not about me today. but it is about y'all today. So I want to express how much an individual that's out there that's trying to support our youth, get involved.
And that's true. And I got to say, with the panel, they're all character developers. So even dancing developers, if you're trying to sit there and you're trying to get polished on your craft, here you go. And it's, who do we compete against? It's only one dance group. Who do I compete against? It's people out there that are interested, and just do it. I just say, just do it. Now, I do want to get this information because, I like to give you guys some facts. Do you guys realize that we had the Elks Youth Center? We had the Hastrom House. We got the Boys and Girls Club still, right? What other youth centers are there? McGuffey Center. The Pearl Street Mission is no longer. I think the only ones that are still here is McGuffey Center and the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, listen, the thing is, it's money in Youngstown, and people is already trying to be a part of change in Youngstown. Sometimes they might need to focus the energy, maybe not where they at, but somewhere else. Let's focus your energy in trying to still do what you do, still be involved, still have fundraisers, still have giveaways, but how can we gonna bring our youth together to get them focused on something totally different instead of walking the streets in the summertime?
Because they ain't got nothing else to do. You're right.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, and we can ready go to this next part that I know that, Rain, you experienced at a very young age, and it's sad because just witnessing it was heartbreaking. The gatekeepers of Youngstown.
Mm. Yes.
That right there. Go ahead. That was something. You were bringing in a group. How old were we? 16? 17?
Like, which time?
When the gatekeepers of Youngstown, because there are some, blocked you from bringing in the rap group to the school, and everybody was hyped about it. Tickets were sold, and you need this, and kept trying to put other obstacles in the way. You jumped over those obstacles, got it done, got the insurance. If the show was to be canceled, the school was going to have to pay you $1 million, and you go ahead and share that with the people that's out there trying to do it. To see, we've been trying. Let me say this: Rain has been doing this so long, and just like Glenn was saying, way before her time. And some of the things that I witnessed being on this side, and she was up front doing it and handling it. Business as a teenager was blocked by grown people, gatekeepers, and that it still exists. And it's like, okay, well, if the children, and I've talked to some, if the children are our future, and you say this, do you really mean it when you're not even giving them a chance? Go ahead, share your story with what happened when you were bringing that group there. Take us back real quick.
It's just almost like there's an agenda, but after I went through a couple of these rejections, we'll call them, or door shut, it's always somebody that's not from the city that I get a chance to sit down and talk to. So this was a G, we're gonna say an OG, and it was a Jamaican, and he owned a bar in Youngstown. And after I went through this stuff, he said, you see, when you do this stuff, you have to go to them first. They are the gatekeepers. Now, this is somebody who's not even, he's not even from our city. And I've had a lot of conversations with people from outside of our city that come in and leave with the bag. But we not getting the bag, right? Mm-hmm. So let's just talk about, I had a show called The Lockdown. And I only named it The Lockdown because of the HipHop Police Department, which was a nonprofit concept that I came up with. Because the Midwest was never included in the industry, right? We got the New York, we got Atlanta, we had West, we had the Bay, we even had Texas. But they want to pay no homage to the Midwest for no righteous reason. Because you sampling our music. Because every musician who is in the industry is from Ohio, who's playing the instruments for all of these artists all over around us. So the Hip Hop Elite Support, I said, well, since we're not included, well, we'd be good to be the popo to start to regulate because we saw the destruction of this culture a long, long time ago. And so since they made the song Self-Destruction, which is a prophecy that said if we don't stop, it's going to get bad for us.
Mm-hmm. But go ahead, tell what happened with the.
So what happened with it? So I had the event, right? And it was I chose Rand because Youngstown has many beautiful venues. So I chose Rand, right? I graduated from Rand. And so I had this show. They kept giving me different things I had to do. And the last final thing was this insurance that I had to pay $500 to get the $1 million insurance to cover it in case anything happened to any of us. You got to cover it. You using public buildings. So that was no problem. Thank you to the person who helped me with that. All the artists pay their entry fees. I'm doing business, so I'm holding people's money. I got a reward in mind. I got, all the stuff in line at Rand. So a few days before the show, I got a call, and it was about the insurance. So I went down to take them to show them that I had it, long story short, and show them my paperwork to show what I was having so that they would understand what was going on because they was giving me a hard time, long story short. So when I got down to the Board of Education, I was then deterred when I got there. The people I came to see, they didn't want to see me, basically. So they told me to go to Rand. When I went to Rand, I sat down with Mr. Benton. And he came into the room and he said, so, what you got going on? That's how he said, talk to me. I said, well, I'm doing this show. And it's sort of, now, mind you, we had a little bit of violence going on in the city at that time. So I'm like, I'm just trying to do something peaceful. We're bringing all these artists. Because I used to tell Jay Williams, the mayor at that time, that you have a city full of rappers. Did you know that? I used to tell him that all the time. You have a city full of artists. Are you aware of that? And he used to be like, oh, just sign up and come see me. Because you can go see your mayor. You sign up and get your appointment. You get in a long line of people that want to talk to the mayor. That never happened. So back to Mr. Benson. He comes in. He's like, boom. He said, you know what? I don't want you to have this show here. And so now I'm like, why? He was like, we don't want rap on our stages. We don't want rap. I said, wait a minute. Hold up. He said, no, you listen. Your event is going to interfere with the junior-senior dinner. Okay. So then that's when my leadership kicked in. I said, hold up. First of all, I am the creator of the junior-senior dinner at Rand High School. Me and Nikki Dawn Shivers was now Anderson, the hairdresser, the leader that's in Youngstown today. We made that up because we used to hang out together. She was a senior and I was a junior. And we just wanted to continue to hang out. So we made up the junior-senior dinner that happens on Valentine's Day where the juniors will announce the seniors' yearbook winners. Best dancer, best dress, best. And so I was like, whoa. And then we did it like the Grammys. We rented a place. It was a fundraiser for the senior class. And you dress up, you get a date, and you come present awards that next year you might receive.
Right. So when he said that, what happened?
So I said, hold up. So I said, hold up now. So I'm the one who made that tradition. That was well into, like, there was a fourth year about having it by the time I come back around trying to use my high school stage. I'm an alumni. All right. So Mr. Benton sits back and says, okay, wait a minute. What's your name again? Now, mind you, he did all this to me and even asked my name. I said, my name is Candace Mozzie. And that's when everything turned around. He sat back. He said, Mozzie? I said, yeah. He said, David and Bobby, and my father was a famous track star, and he broke his records just recently got broken in the last, Rand is gone now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? At that time. But he sat back and then he began to apologize. And he said, you know what? They told me to discourage you. They.
The gatekeepers.
He said, yeah. They told me, he said, but I can't do that to you because your father, he means a lot to me. He helped me in track, blah, blah, blah. This is Mr. Benson. Okay. And so I said, okay, all right. So I remember leaving from him. There was no resolution there as far as me being able to throw the event there. And now, mind you, this is a couple days before. And I got all these artists' money who was already hard for me to deal with because they have a hard time trusting.
Right,
You know,
by rights.
So the money put together to help with the venue and then give back to them, based on ticket sales and who had the most people out there.
Right.
Trying to show and teach that we got to have support. And those screams mean a lot at the end of a show. When you get done, your support, it means a lot. So
right.
I go down to the Board of Education, and now, I'm learning how to press through these politics. So I go down there, and I don't remember before or after. I don't remember before or after the event. This meeting I had when I went to the Board of Education. I sat down there, and I was at a table, and they had me go in a room and sit by myself. I sat there, and then waited about 30 minutes from the appointment, and then Mr. Telesky walks in, which was a white gentleman.
Ooh.
He came up to me, he said, "Hi, my name is Mr. Telesky," and he shook my hand, and he said, "I'm going to be sitting in on this meeting." At that time, maybe he was the assistant superintendent of the Board of Education. I don't know these titles. He sat down. 15 minutes later, in walks Mr. McGee. Is it McGee? He walks in, walk around the table, sit down. He did not introduce himself. He did not say, "Hey, who are you?" He sat down and he said, "We don't want this show here. We don't want rap here on our stage at Rand." And I'm like, I really ain't understanding why you're saying that, because I graduated from Rand and I wrote a play that we rapped. It was The Three Little Pigs. I rewrote it as a rap play where the seniors actually played in this play for Harding Elementary, who walked across the parking lot and came and sat in our audience. And we had pen pals. And that's how I met Ayana Green. Shouts out to Ayana Green. She was my pen pal. And she was young. And to this day, we see each other and hug just because of that event.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So it was a positive event.
Yeah, to this day I love her just because of that. So this was gatekeeper action, right? And that's not even to say when Scarface and Too Short came to Youngstown to perform at the South Field House.
Did they come before your event or after? They came before or after? They came after, right?
This was after.
Okay.
2 years after.
Okay.
But the gatekeepers were saying this was police killer rappers. These rappers was against Popo. And remember how they shut down our city? And that was the time, that's when I began to learn, we have powers that be that are against us.
Okay. We missing. Let's go back a little bit. So ultimately, you couldn't do the show.
Ultimately, when I went to the show, they pretended like it was okay. I got the insurance, turned it in, but on the day of the show, nobody came to let us in. And so another aspect of gatekeepers, so I called Channel 33 because my cousin let me know that Channel 33 is more trumbull and more, they'll tell a story and get it out in a different way. I called them when I was standing in the parking lot with all the artists, but instead of them coming, Channel 21 and 27 both came. And so like you said, Diego, I would like the footage that they collected that day because they do have it. When I was standing out there, and I was kind of a mess. I was crying, because it was embarrassing. I had all these people ready to perform. We were standing outside Rand parking lot, and they didn't show up to let us in at all. And so then, to move on with gatekeepers, I had to sue.
Wait a minute, you already know this shop talk. So you had to give all these people their money back.
I had to give everybody their money back. And I also, when I went and read the clause in my insurance, it said, if this event is canceled for any reason at all, you get $1 million, or at least the value of your event. Count the seats, time the ticket price, that's owed to me. So when I went the next morning back to the attorney that gave me the insurance, he was startled. And what he did was illegal. He went in the back and he gave me back my premium. He gave me back the $500 and tried to act like that just null and voids the contract.
So to act like it just didn't happen.
Act like it didn't even happen.
But had you had an attorney, the attorney would have.
The attorney who I got the insurance, he like, whoa, she about to get 20,000, 40,000, 10,000 was a lot. At my age, it ain't whatever. But it said for any reason, if this is canceled, you have to, because that's what the insurance was about. It wasn't just about if somebody got killed, because that's what was all that was on their mind. The fear of the youth is what I was dealing with. Because what it ended up being is then I had to take it to small claims. And I did. Now, mind you, I'm learning all this legal stuff because of what I'm going through. There was no adult to help me, nothing. I had to figure this out. How am I going to get justice of how I just got treated? So I wrote it out what happened because I noticed that it was discrimination because Mr. McGee later tried to say it was because of the names of the groups that was on the list. And he said the names of the groups made him decide to cancel. That's called discrimination. You can't look at names of a group and say no. You can at least listen to the music like they're doing down here in Atlanta with Young Thug's case, right? They listening to songs, and I'm like, what in the world that got to do? Where's the bodies? Where's the stuff that this rapper did? That y'all got him in the courtroom? Y'all playing songs. Come on. I don't know what's going on with that.
So it's pretty much the gatekeepers are stereotyping the event instead of just like, okay, well, we don't know what it's about. Let's see. Instead of saying, hey, let's have a meeting prior to
of our children, not there to help them. Remember, this was when they had that 2010 or 2000 plan or something. Remember, they had a plan.
The 2020.
Youngstown's going to be better. Jay Williams was our mayor.
I remember that.
The White House. He that left Youngstown went on to skip everything, went straight to the White House. And so, to work, I'm saying. And so, nobody never intended to help us in that plan. But we carried that plan. We're the ones with the hope. Because they always say Youngstown is a beautiful city to start a business. And you ask them, oh yeah, why? Because of hope. It's like, no, it takes money for business. Quit playing.
See, you know what though? Let me say something. You know, the gatekeeper exists right today because even in Youngstown right now, they say how they want to do things to change things, but they're not really doing things to change things. The gatekeepers are keeping a lot of that stuff away. That's why the youth ain't got nothing today. And then they wonder why all this extracurricular stuff is going on in Youngstown, but all over the world. But in Youngstown, the principle is them gatekeepers is the same ones that kept you down. They're the same ones that keeping Youngstown down today. And they're using our own people against us.
Right. Because when I went to court and I stood in there, the Board of Education walked in, Mr. McGee and whoever else came with them, they went to behind the scenes of the courtroom, took their coats off. Now I'm learning. So I know, okay, I'm suing the Board of Education, so I'm suing the government. Like, all y'all in cahoots? And the attorney was that, forgive me for saying it like this because I don't remember his name, but it was the handicap judge, the one in the wheelchair. And
I know you're talking about.
He would be familiar with discrimination. So they went, took their coats back. I mean, just pure intimidation. I'm going against you, but you putting your coat over here in the mediator's closet, sitting down on his couch. And I'm standing over here at the front door, still knocking, trying to get in. And so what the judge did was say, we're going to judge this. We're going to make this decision, and I'm going to mail it to you. That's how they played me. They were talking to me, listening to me, and then some of the artists started to walk in. And so I'm thankful. I know South Payne was there. Shouts out to that family, Darnell, he's a boxer now. I'm trying to remember his last name, y'all. Boom. Darnell, the Boom family. I worked with them on their first album, you know what I'm saying? And so I thank them, though, for coming through. But when the artists walked through, they decided not to make a scene. And they said, well, I'm gonna mail you the results of what we think. And I waited, and when I got the mail, I lost. I just simply lost, You
lost because they walked in and you're like, okay, wait a minute. Your people they're there and they hang their coat. That was intentional for you to see that, guess what? We are all in cahoots.
We are all in cahoots. You're going to learn today, girl. You're going to learn. And I did. I'm like, oh, but they can't imagine the damages that they were doing to me at the time.
And that's probably why.
While I deal with that rejection, I deal with that spirit of rejection.
Well, you know what? That's probably why a lot of the younger people in the Youngstown area, they're going another route. And now that you have social media, they're like, well, listen, I don't need you. I found another direction. And I do remember some younger, when I say younger, we're talking like 22, 25, just graduating, some fresh out of college. They're like, they won't let us in. And they're trying to do stuff. Mm-hmm. So you're right, Diego. You got something that's out there that's trying, and them gatekeepers still keeping the gate. And they're like, no. And it's like, do you really want it to grow? And then you have those people that don't mind being a big fish in a little pond, but you can't grow because you're running out of space.
Right.
And if
see, all the things I didn't have to leave Youngstown to do. That was my whole point. The signing autographs, the whole journey was right there in the city. And so it, that whole thing, get out of here, and just all the things that we speak over our city, we must stop it. And we have to understand that we have that power. Like even once we come,
you have it.
Next, where we're going to listen to music, how we're going to buy it. We have that power, but we always sit back and lend it to.
But watch this. You have a lot of people that leave the area, and you'll hear, well, why don't y'all come back to the area? The reason you leave the area is because I don't want to be a big fish in a little pond. Just imagine a big fish in a fish bowl, in a fish tank, and it's constantly growing. Well, I have outgrown this, instead of being, hey, I don't mind being a little fish in a big pond because I have room to navigate. And it seems like the people here, they say, oh, we need to bring people back. Why do people leave? People leave because of this very thing, the gatekeepers. And guess what? It's sad to say that a stranger will give you opportunity when your family, and when I say family, I'm talking about your area where you grew up at, won't give you a chance because they're afraid of losing their position.
Right. And, not only that, even the people that's in positions, they even got gatekeepers over them.
And that's an issue.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So they making up excuses because they ain't telling the truth because they don't want to lose their position. You hear what I'm saying? So let's keep it real about that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the mayor and all the rest of them too to go along with them. You know what I'm saying? But
they can't even move.
They want to help, but them gatekeepers got them at bay. You dig what I'm saying? Oh, no, you better not, or you're going to lose your position.
Because all it is, you just wearing the title. So you still don't have control.
Right.
You're the fall guy.
Agenda. There's an agenda, though. There's an agenda there. But, we don't, I don't want to go that deep with it. But
honey, I do.
To keep the crime. To keep the crime and we need to pay attention to that because now it's just what it was prophesied to be by self-destruction. It's out of control. We headed for self-destruction, not somebody doing it to us. It's causing self-destruction.
Interesting. You should say that. And I brought it up earlier. I brought it up yesterday, and it's coming back today. When you guys get the opportunity, check out the Tyrone Mays experiment. Tyrone Mays experiment. And that is where you pretty much what you're saying, self-destruction, where he does an experiment with rats. And he put several rats in one environment where they have space to grow. And then he put a bunch of rats here and then see what happens. Check out that. Look at that because it's deep. And it makes you look and reflect like, is this the community? Is this what you really want? But here's where we have to get smart. We have to get smart and think, I am not getting ready to tear this up. And guess what? I don't have to be here. And there are people who left. And they're like, okay, go ahead. You go ahead and go and spread your wings and be the best that you can be. We were taught that, brought up that, the hope and the dream. And then when they leave, you be like, well, why don't they want to come here? For your vote? Because you're not helping me. I gave you my vote and I don't have any help. And you said it when you say he got voted in and it went to the White House to grow. Right. And it's like
they make money off the crime. That's what we have. That's why all of our.
Did you say they're making money off the crime?
Yeah, all our friends wear scrubs. All our friends are nurses. They're making money. You braiding hair for women who going to work to work in hospitals. Now,
and I would be that one. Look, I would be one.
The FBI building was brought to Youngstown. That's a small town. They need the FBI. And what I wanted the young men to understand is if it's an FBI building, then there's somebody waking up in the morning and doing undercover work. Because this
like what y'all doing here?
On that is above looking down on you. And because we thought we was slick by hitting that ride at 3 a.m. You on the radar, buddy. You not doing anything in Youngstown that is not known. It's too small in the perimeter. Look how big other cities are. And they have to have a hold over that city to say they're police officers or any type of organization, even the government, even the mayor. They have to look down onto that land space and how many human souls living in that.
Easy peasy, because it's one spot in Youngstown where you hit all sides. South side, north side, east. You like right there.
Which was our advantage.
Right. You hit all sides of town in 15 minutes.
Yes.
Right. Which is an advantage. And then, like I said, we still within 8 hours, and that's what the Youngstown movement is about. Bringing the kids outside and going places. That's what That's
what I was going to say. So we got the problem, and the solution is, you said, the Youngstown movement.
That we're looking forward to doing. And, we love our city because we grew up at a time where, like I said, we had
a magnificent childhood. Fun.
Look at Sly. Look at Kingsman Media.
Fun.
Look where he be, but he still want to give back to his city. Do you think he?
It is. Listen, it is not just him. It is so many people.
All of us.
So many. It's like, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to build the morale, and the way to build the morale is by having both of you guys on talking about the fun things, and we can talk about it till we blue in the face. But let me tell you one thing about experience. It's embedded in your head. You have a visual. That's one thing about experience. And it needs to be a good experience. I did a Facebook post talking about, I don't even remember what it said. Of course, I'm from Youngstown, and I was reading the comments. And it was some good ones and some funny ones. But it was sad when I saw I almost got shot or I got shot. And what happens is, here we go again, the negative is few and people jump on that. So you had like maybe 90 people commented and 3 people were shot. And then you want to take those situations and make it like the whole town. Oh, yeah, it's bad. No, I don't know the situation, and you can get caught up in something. But let's focus on the good, the happy, the fun. Because the one guy that I thought was hilarious, he said, we're the Dairy Queen next to a funeral home and a pool hall across the street. That's that east side of McGuffey. Remember that?
Right.
I was laughing. I was like, yeah. But it's like, we gotta find something for the youth to get back involved. And I wouldn't mind, even if mine was younger, it's like, yeah, let's just do this. We have the concerts. You taking yours out of town. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like I'm taking my child out of town just so that they don't have to do this. And parents are working. And then they'll say, well, it's the single parent syndrome. Man, parents been single for how long? This ain't new.
Right.
And shouts out to Miss Taylor that's on there. Said she left in 2003. But yeah, there was an exodus. Over 50,000 people left Youngstown. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
50,000. It was an exodus.
Right? Yeah, they exited.
But the land is popular demand now.
Well, I'm sure it is. But let's get on the fact of how we can fix this. How can we make it more exciting?
It's only one way that you can fix this. And the only way to fix this is the people that live in Youngstown have to take the initiative to vote people out and to vote people in. And then they got to get involved with the kids all over again. They got to play a positive part. See, these kids got to understand they got to shut up and listen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all got to be quiet because y'all don't know everything. Y'all ain't walked the walk y'all need to walk just yet. Life is in stages. Life you just don't jump into. You got to live through stages of life. You got to really go through something. I know you want it like yesterday, but it don't really work like that. Quit living in a myth. Quit watching too much TV. That's a dream for you, but you have your own dream. So how you accomplish that dream is working through stages, understanding your part in life, and listening to the people that can walk that life and trying to help you get there.
And usually that's how you find out what you want to do in your future. You study the person that's doing what it is that you want to become in your future.
Exactly.
And we need to have that. And it's crazy how people tend to look at like the bum on the street. Oh, that was that. No, everybody is not like that. That's why I'm a firm believer of your community will find you. And just because you are not in popular demand, air quotes for the listening audience, does not mean that someone is not watching you. People are watching. And you
always watching.
And you do have those who are still envious that are in these positions. They still mad at you from high school because they was that dude that couldn't get that girl. So, oh, you're her child. Watch this. So it's that type of stuff. People are in positions where they're over utilities, and then they be like, oh yeah, her bill's cut off. Look at that. She got a disconnection. Those you're taking personal stuff and putting it in there. So I can speak for the adults that I know this happens. That's why I'm bringing it out here. I ain't never shut up on Shop Talk.
Well, you know what?
But it's, you got to vote people in.
To really understand too. They got to grow up too.
That's where it's at.
Also, so you're right. You most definitely right. But the mainstream though, for real, everybody need to grow the hell up. Period. The people in power.
Yeah.
The gatekeeper, the mothers, the fathers, the kids. Y'all gotta go back to square one and understand that, listen, only way we're gonna be able to do this is to do it together. Right. You can't do it by going down the street and shooting a dude in the store or running into somebody's house. I mean, you got to wake up. I mean, I went through my changes. I understand. I get it. I know. I get it. I'm a street dude. I've been there. But let's move forward, though.
Sorry to interrupt, but even in our sports, we do it. We know we can do it. You know what I mean? Because even in sports, we push some of our children right out of our city, right into the NFL, right? And I'm reading what Nate said about it being no real industry. And so we got to have, like, talking about this, we know what we're dealing with. And like Glenn said, we got to move, like Mel and I, we have to move on. We can't just try to keep trying to save some unsavable. But I wanted to say, when it says no real industry is there, and that's the thing. They're talented in their industry is music. That's what I'm saying. Wait, hold on, Mel.
Go ahead.
Youngstown is known for the Warner Brothers. We was one of the cities, the first film of film. First they were coming in, sitting there watching live entertainment. Youngstown was the first city that a screen dropped down and a movie was showed. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you see these people having these film conferences, like amongst themselves for filming. There's a true rich history there. It's a rich history there. Born in this city. We share that.
Let me say this. I believe everybody is savable. I want to clear that up. I believe everybody is savable. Maybe certain people aren't the ones to save them because people, they don't hear from certain people. Like we can talk to children that may not be ours and they're going to pay attention, but your own don't hear you. So I wanted to put that in there. As long as you have breath, you are savable. But here's what's not going to happen, especially from me. I can't, what is that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Here's the direction to go. I'm not going to do the work for you, but if you are willing to do the work and put in the effort, then you have it. Now, what I wanted to touch on what Glenn was saying, you know, you have these people and they do need to grow up. They definitely need to grow up in these positions. And we have to vote these people in, not off of popularity, because see, that's where the problem's at still. We're on that. You're voting because they're most popular. Who's the best for the position, especially when you're looking at your future? And the comment that Nate had actually said was the overall goal is to sell Youngstown, tearing down every house not lived in. They are redistricting, but redlining our educational system, true, and no real industry. That was the whole comment. Now, I do want to say, yes, you hear people talk and they only put media. With media, we only can touch bases on certain things. Some are true, some are not, and you have to decipher which is real and what is not. And then you see the arguing. They're like, oh, they arguing on the school board. If they weren't arguing on the school board, that meant that they all agree. Now, everybody is not going to agree on bad. And you have to pay attention to that and go to a meeting and say, why are they arguing? That should be the question. Why, if it's for the children, why are they arguing? Somebody is not going along with the program. So you got to look at the bigger picture. And that was just my example there. Now, as far as like, I see in the comments, you guys, I'm reading them and I appreciate the feedback. Y'all know I love it. Talking about the grocery stores. To me, I see that if I don't plan on opening one, that's something that I can't fix. You know, somebody has to go and say, hey, I want to open up a grocery store. Somebody has to invest and say, this is something I'm going to take a chance on. So with that, I don't really focus on that because I hear constantly in the community, we don't even have a grocery store. Well, open one. If you open one, then okay, if that's what you choose to do. But you can't tell somebody else what to do with their money. And if they don't want to invest, they don't want to invest. The hotel downtown, the DoubleTree, we already know that was a deal with friends. And I stayed there and I couldn't believe it because it's a very nice hotel. I'm excited about it. I got my bill, and every hotel that I stay in, and I stay in a lot of different hotels going in and out of the state, you pay city taxes. There was no city taxes. So I spent $160 a night here. It was a sale. Look, I'm like, it was a sale. And no city taxes. So I asked, why is there no city tax? I'm okay with paying it. But all these other taxes are there, which means I'm thinking, hey, I'm helping the city by staying right downtown Youngstown. And I'm not, because there's no city taxes, because it was a tax break. And look how long. Go ahead, what you got?
Check this out. See that downtown? That downtown is not created. It's created for certain people. We ain't some of them people. See, the whole ordeal has been, I got to say it. Everything that's going downtown is meant to be for the Caucasian people. And I say this because a lot of what they've been doing for years is pushing the black people on out and bringing the white people on in.
It's just redoing it. They call it regentrification.
Just have some really nice events recently that might support our conversation. I heard that downtown was not only gorgeous, the new development, but that they came down for the 4th or for Christmas.
Well, yeah, you have it, but if you look closely, and you can look at any city, honestly, but I could say for here, if you look closely, let's think back. If you lived, okay, the South Side don't have projects, so the South Side, we know who used to live on the South Side, all the white people. Back in the day.
But they pushed everybody over there now.
But watch what happens. So downtown was thriving. You had Higby, Strausses. I'm dating myself. Y'all remember all that stuff. Right downtown. And it was bopping. The theater, the Playhouse was right down there on the other side. I mean, it was bopping. Right. So then, and you had the upper South Side, the upper North Side, who was staying there. More predominantly white. Then you had some black people who moved out. And because remember, you had the projects, you had Westlake right there, you had the East Side, you had 3 or 4 projects. You know, every side had projects except the South Side. I realized that on the other show. I was like, oh yeah, that is right. So now all the black people are right downtown. You had the bus station right there. It was in between like the welfare office at that time. I'm really dating myself. But it was thriving, and it was inner city. And inner city was predominantly black. The whites were out. Now what's happening, you see downtown, they got those beautiful apartments. So now you got, okay, y'all got outside, we get ready to sell our property, and we coming back down. So now let's make downtown beautiful for the non-melanated. Yeah, and then you got all the black people out on the outskirts. And how much is your insurance? Sky high. Some homes can't even get insured. And back in the day, you had great insurance. They will not, some insurance companies will not cover your house. How about that? And back in the day, it was a great area because you're in Youngstown. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. But it's just so bad and so and it's really racist. Youngstown is racist. They've been racist for years, and that's just the way it is. You got to call a spade, and they're using a lot of trickery. They're using a lot of our own people, even our own people, then turn white.
Right, that's what I'm telling you. These were black men, Mr. Ben and Mr. McGee. Mr. Tulesky came in and introduced himself to me and sat down next to me. The black man came in there.
Isn't that crazy though? That's what's disappointing. That's what's disappointing, because you have people that's like, okay, we both black and y'all know how that goes. Let's help each other. Boom, boom, boom. When it's a white person that's helping me and my own people are keeping me down. Like, nope, I can't do it. But Glenn, you said it best, because even me coming in, talking to my black friend prior to the position, and he couldn't do what I needed him to do for me, but the white guy who was there could. Mm-hmm. Right. And I had to, and that was crazy, because he was like, oh yeah, if I'm back in, I got definitely, sure, Mel, blah, 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 blah. But your own can't even move. And I learned that with a good friend of mine who totally disappointed me because she couldn't make a decision out of fear of losing her position when I had to go over her head to get what was due me, to get my pay.
Right. That's them gatekeepers. See, them gatekeepers, them niggas at bay. You hear what I'm saying?
You need a sound effect on that one. We need a sound effect on that one. You said the ninjas at bay.
Believe it or not, you know what I'm saying? And see, they rather deal with a hush mouth nigga than deal with a nigga that will talk, that would speak, that would stand for self, that would stand for the people. You know what? I want to mention his name. Y'all might know him. Mr. Ungaro.
Pat Ungaro. What about him?
That man right there, he was for the people.
Okay.
He didn't care what color. He was the mayor. He was the mayor. He justice for the people. He didn't care about what you... He did what he's supposed to have did. And that's the difference from the mayors back in the day, 30 years ago, to the mayors of the day. All they worry about is a paycheck.
Right.
And that's tragic.
A couple of Youngstown too.
At your expense.
He avoided a couple of them. I think they was attempts on his life a couple times, but
there it is. There's a witness. I'm on the east side with that problem. Can't find insurance.
Right. So it's true. Yeah.
It's true. You know what I'm saying? So this platform, you all platform that to stand for something. You know what I'm saying? Because we bind under a constitutional right that we can speak what we want to speak and say what we want to say, no matter what, and stand on truth with it.
Right. And that's
the nobody. Right.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but Tiffany was saying, are there any black-owned businesses downtown now? And when that question, it reminded me that this situation that we talk about going on all over America, so we are not alone, and we're not picking.
Oh no,
just in Atlanta today, I got a text that there's an Atlanta-owned grocery store where the farmers have gotten together, a black-owned, and it's new. And we're in Atlanta.
And we have we have black banks too.
It's not just about Youngstown. This is a universal thing.
It definitely is. The topic I have is the hip hop culture, and all of it is inclusive here. Real talk, because it's being stopped. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, I don't need you to do that in Youngstown. But yes, this is. The platform is all over the world. I got to be honest with you.
Global, right?
Yes, it is, which I'm really grateful, because we got listeners from Jamaica all over. And I want to tap in here and answer that question. Yes, there are black-owned businesses downtown Youngstown, and there's you have the Octave. But here's the thing, and those are 3 young black guys, which is really cool. But let me say this. It depends on, I'll support, but it depends on if it's my desire. Meaning, I don't kick it like that. Now, back in my 20s, I kicked it, but I be tired, so I don't go out. So, Mel, how come you don't support here? Well, I don't go out. I'm asleep when they woke. You know what I mean? I'm going to work at this time. It's not that I don't support them. I love it. I love seeing people get their money. And honestly, regardless of their color, I want us to build. But when you are giving breaks to certain people and not the other people, it's making it more complex. And when you are gatekeeping, air quotes to the listening audience, it discourages the youth, which is, let me just say what it is. It discourages the future, because that's what they are. They are our future. And once you get into dancing and becoming, and you guys may look at it as, oh, okay, that's just dancing. Listen, that's a lot of things. That's exercise, great cardio. You have your social skills, a real talk social skills, coping skills. If you lose, I ain't gonna be all pissed off and upset. No, it's called a friendly competition. Nobody has to go off and bang, bang, shoot them up. But do we want this thing? Now, a lot of people feel like I don't want to invest in it because it might get shot up. Come on. Kathy Hammond, myself, and David Height, we did the variety show. And it was very, very nice. The insurance, yes, you do have to get the insurance again because people fear what may happen. And
you do have to cover those things.
And I get that, just like automobile insurance, just in case. And that's what it's for. And I'm not saying don't do it, but when I did the math, look at how much money I spent. I spent $250,000 on insurance, automobile insurance, just in case for this day right now. $250,000, but just in case. Just imagine if you took your money and invested in you. And that's what we are missing. And I'll be sitting there like, dang, it's black people. Everybody talking about, did they have insurance? We got to do this, do a GoFundMe. And it's sad because I learned being in management. I said, dang, I'm in here. I'm the only black face in the place. So now I represent every black person in this office, right? But I learned that as a black person, we prepare for the worst. But as the non-melanatids that I work with in there, they prepare for the future. Because I asked a question. I said, they didn't have insurance? And my boss said, there was a baby. Insurance on the baby? I was like, well, yeah. She was like, no. So they were selling spaghetti dinners. They didn't do a GoFundMe. They were selling spaghetti dinners. And I said, they didn't have insurance on the baby? She said, no. She was like, no, we paid for the college fund. And I looked, and it was an eye-opener for me. So it was 16 of us in there. I was the only black face in the place. And I said, dang, we have been so programmed and accustomed to a certain way of living that we have to break the cycle where as soon as ours are born, we're going to get insurance, get the Gerber insurance, the whole nine, they mailing it. When these people are putting money away for their future, for college funds, and we have to think to say, I got to figure out for insurance.
Let's say not programmed. Let's say tricked. You know what I'm saying? Let it, program is fine, but somebody might not get it. So let's say trick.
Okay.
Let's say lie.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it right where it at. And this how it's been for hundreds of years. So if you continue to keep being in that mindset and not wanting to know, you will never know. But see, we got to also understand you lead by action.
Yes.
Action speak louder. You hear what I'm saying? But when we got leaders that's in the front, that's saying one thing and doing the next, how people is taking that?
They're discouraging the youth, and that is the truth. You hit the nail on the head. They are discouraging the future because they see how they act. And you can blame the television and what you're watching and all that stuff. You can blame it. But when the person that they are directly connected to
right,
are not being the example.
Right.
And it's like, what, you don't want to be a role model, but you're made a role model regardless. And as a child, we always we find our role models. Even if you don't want to be one, we find our role models. Mr. and Mrs. Jones up the street. I'm going to have a house like that when I get older. They don't even know that you're looking at them as a child. And you'll be like, oh, okay, I remember this person. They were inspirational in my life. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, I want to do that when I get older. People don't understand that you are a role model, whether you like it or not, and you are an example. And when you have a direct connect, so I appreciate you saying that. I do, Glenn. When you have a direct connect,
Right.
it is your obligation, your duty to carry yourself as that. You're as an example. Show them. Because you actions speak louder than words. Don't talk me to death, especially with this new generation. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Right. Right. And let's put something out there also. Y'all young adults, just because you done made some mistakes in your life, no matter what it is, don't think that you cannot stand up and be a productive individual of society and make right choices for yourself right today. Because, you know what I'm saying? I ain't always been right. But most definitely, I'm really striving for perfection right now. I'm really rethinking everything about where I was and where I'm at today and where I'm trying to go. You hear what I'm saying? And if I don't got nobody by my side, I know one thing for sure. I can say that I got me. Continue to keep pushing. If ain't nobody there, God is there, and I'm continuing to keep pushing. Just keep moving. Everything gonna be all right.
Rain, we got a few minutes. Give the people something positive to look forward to.
Well,
As far and with coping, and just give our youth. What would you give something positive to the youth that's out here that may be listening?
yeah, well, I can say that success is a template. It's not some unattainable fairy tale. There are people that might not be in your home, but might not even be in your community. But since you guys do have access to TikTok, it's time to take a closer look at people that you're interested in. The entertainment industry is an illusion and that of entertainment. But I'm going to repeat, success is a template. I think that's the positive thing I want to say, that it's attainable. It's not a dream to be successful. You might start off doing one thing and it'll lead you down a path, right? And it's a journey. I teach rapology class, and I had to let the children know, because it's like we wait on this one big day or this one big thing, but that's actually your birth and your death. And the way we're trained to live like we live forever. We don't know that we on a time. You know what I mean? So I just want children to realize.
You went deep. You went deep for the youth.
Right. They can handle it because they have access to so much information. So my whole point was find that mentor on your phone then and do some research on how to get to these places. Success is a template. That's what I want to say.
They definitely do have the resources available. We had to go through, I remember doing, when I had to do a report, I had to get the encyclopedia. Now you could just go on the internet and get it. But yes, if there's something that you want, please go for it. Get it. Watch the people that have done it before you. Take notes, study them. You may not take everything that they use, but use what works for you. And there is a thing, just as you said, I'm going to piggyback on what you said, as far as like a time. That's why the thing is called chasing your dreams, not walking to your dreams. Chasing your dreams is like getting into it. But as long as you have breath, you have time, and we don't know when it is. But I want you guys, and you'll hear me say, some people say, live every day as if it's your last. I always say, because my hard drive is always rebooted. Live every day as if it's your first. Wow, it's a big world. Let me see what's happening out there. Right. Grab it. It's at the palm of your hand. Glenn, any last words? Positive words for the youth?
No, I just want y'all to just stay focused on life in general. And, Sam, be respectful to each other as much as you can. And last but not least, ladies and men, quit trying to use each other and help each other. That's it.
You need to be on Saturday with relationships. Because baby, Look, that's that relationship advice. Quit trying to use each other because, man, they be trying to get up, man. I ain't even lying because I'm like, oh, he paying the bills. Let me bank my cash. Boom, boom. Hey, this is a Shop Talk exclusive. We did the hip hop culture in Youngstown, bringing it back. We missed the, we shouted out Miss Miller with the African Culture Weekends. The City Fest was it. And just because one person ruined it doesn't mean it should be over for everybody. Address that particular issue or that particular person. And let's look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is us, a team. Together, everyone achieves more. All right, lovely people, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you, as I do. I usually say each and every Saturday, but every time. And I truly, truly love you guys for giving me some of your time on this exclusive. Thank you so much. The scenic route in your lap, Candee Rain. Let me give it to you real quick. Let's do it that way. Here, there you go. Let's see, where are you at? There we go. I was trying to figure it out how I go. Yeah, that is Candee Rain in your lap. You want to give your information so people can follow you, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff?
Yes, the Scenic Route is a podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes Store, all those good places where your streaming is. But W Grind Radio Wednesdays, 8 to 10 p.m., Remix and I. We've been doing our thing there a long time, but you can catch the Scenic Route and this ongoing story that's going on Wednesdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. But the main thing is if you have a hip-hop story or if you got input from tonight and what we got going on and coming up, send that to us at inyourlap@gmail.com. That's INYOLAP@gmail.com because we know there's other hip-hop stories besides ours. We're not leaving nobody out and we're not trying to. You might have a different angle and different opinion. We want to hear it. We want to get you on the Scenic Route. The Scenic Route is about Youngstown and then how it led me to a great journey in the music industry that's still going on today. So, all
right. So there you have it. Thank you again for tuning in to Shop Talk with Mel's exclusive. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always love you. Signing off at the midnight hour. Night, night, lovely people. Peace.
Peace.